Hi friends, welcome you all. In this session, we are going to read about rocks and minerals. So rocks, which is made up of minerals, and minerals in turn is made up of different kind of elements. Example for this is granite. Granite, which is a rock, which is made up of different kind of minerals like quartz, feldspar, and biotite. And quartz is a mineral which is made up of different elements like silica and oxygen. So by this, you will be knowing what is rock, what is mineral, and what are elements. We have three different kinds of rock like igneous rock, sedimentary rock, and metamorphic rock, and we will be dealing with how these rocks are formed and what are its characteristics and how it leads to the formation of a soil. So first the magma is formed. This magma on cooling to form a igneous rock. So this igneous rock undergo weathering and erosions to form a sediments. So initially the igneous rock will be a consolidated one. On weathering and erosions it forms a sediment which is unconsolidated, and again it gets consolidated by the process of compaction and cementations, which leads to the process of sedimentary rocks. So the sedimentary rocks is also called a stratified rock because a stratification process is involved in the process of sedimentary rock formations. So what is a stratification is what the sediments what you are seeing is will be staked in a different layers. So in the first layer there will be a different kind of sediments, in second layer there will be a different kind of sediments. Eventually this will be leads to stakes of different kinds of sediments, and this leads to the process of stratification, and hence the sedimentary rocks is also called as a stratified rocks. Till now, igneous rock and sedimentary rocks are formed. From this igneous rock and sedimentary rock, metamorphic rock is formed by the process of metamorphism. Friends, what is metamorphism is change in structure or shape, a process in which a thing is undergoing alteration in its structure and a property. So in this case, igneous rock and sedimentary rock undergoing such changes. So the changes may be accommodated with the heat and the pressure. If it is due to heat, it is called as a thermal metamorphism, and it is due to if it is due to pressure, it is called as a dynamothermal metamorphism, friends. And it is can be also accommodated by the actions of water, wind, etc. that we will be seeing in the upcoming slides. So these are all the different kinds of rock. We have igneous rock, metamorphic rock, and sedimentary rock. And example for one of the best example of igneous rock is granite. And in case of sedimentary rock, it is sandstone, limestone, shale, and gypsum. And in case of metamorphic rock, these are the rocks which are formed by the igneous or sedimentary rock. And hence, for a metamorphic rock, a parent material should be a igneous rock or sedimentary rock. And example of metamorphic rock is marble, slate, quartzite, or gneiss. So first we can read about igneous rock. So igneous rocks are the first formed rock from the magma, and it undergoes solidifications. So based on its solidification, where it solidifies, whether it is above the surface or below the surface, they are classified into two types, namely extrusive rock or intrusive rock. Extrusive rock means if the solidification occurs on the surface. If the solidification occurs below the surface, it is intrusive rock. And example of extrusive rock is called basalt, and extrusive rock is also called as volcanic rock. And example of intrusive rock is granite, and intrusive rock is also called as a plutonic rocks. And this igneous rocks is also classified based on its silica content. If it is a fact that if it content having more silica, it is acid. And in case of igneous rock, acid igneous rock is one which is having more than 65% of silica content, and example for this is granite. And intermediate one we have subacid and subbasic rock, and if it is 60 to 65% silica content, it is sub acid, and example of this is cyanate or trachyte. And next is subbasic rock, which is 56 to 60% silica content, and example for this is diorite or andesite. And the third classification is basic rock, which have 40 to 55% of silica content, and example for this is basalt. And next is sedimentary rock, friends. As we know, the sedimentary rocks are formed by the igneous rock. First the igneous rock will be formed. This will be undergoing some weathering to form a sediments. These sediments undergoes compaction, friends. First we have a compacted igneous rock. These compacted igneous rocks will undergoes weathering to form a uncompacted sediments. So this uncompacted sediments undergoes again compaction to form a sedimentary rock, friends. That is the process what we are seeing. So the consolidations of the sediments. Consolidation, what is the process involved in consolidation? As we see, cementation or compaction. Cementation and compaction are the two processes which involved in consolidation of a sediments. These sediments are derived from a igneous rock. So the consolidations of sediments accumulated through winds or water actions forms a sedimentary rocks. This rocks is also called as a clastic rock or stratified rock, as I mentioned before. So based on its origin, they are classified into two types, namely residual and transported. An example of residual is laterite, which is forming on its own place, and if it is transported, there are different agents like solid in suspension. Example is sandstone, and if it is due to a chemical precipitation, it is limestone or ironstone, or through deposits through the agency of organic matters. Example of this is peat or potassic deposits, friends. And the third is, and the sedimentary rock, we know that it is formed by different layers or strata, and it's also called a stratified rock, and they are also classified on based on its grain size. If the size of the sedimentary rock is like pebbles, it is called a conglomerate or rhodaceous, and if it is a sand size, it is sandstone, and it is named as arenaceous. And silt rocks are silt size particle, and example for this is siltstone, and the clay size particle is argillaceous, and example for this is shale. And friends, next is metamorphic rock. Friends, now igneous rock and sedimentary rocks are formed from this. A metamorphism is a process involved in the formation of metamorphic rock. So this metamorphism can be influenced by heat, pressure, chemical active liquids and gases. And if the changes is due to water, it is hydrometamorphism, and if it is due to pressure, it is dynamometamorphism. And what if the changes occurs due to heat? As I mentioned before, please pause on the video and think for a while. Yes friends, it is a thermal metamorphism. And these are all the metamorphic rock which is, and they have a parent material, and this parent material should be from igneous rock or sedimentary rock. So the granite is a parent material for the formation of gneiss, and for a schist to form, its parent material is basalt or a shale, and quartzite is derived from sandstone, slate from shale, and marble from limestone. Friends, in many of the competitive exam you can get this kind of question, match the following, or you can get this metamorphic rock is formed from which of the parent materials, or they can be giving the 4 options of metamorphic rocks. They can give any one of the metamorphic rock, and remaining 3 is different rock, and they can be asking which among the following is a metamorphic rock. So on that kind, this will be a very important question in all your upcoming competitive exam, friends. And next we can go off to the minerals. There are different minerals. What you are seeing is the Mohs scale. So the Mohs scale is one which indicates the hardness of a mineral. In many competitive exam you can see which scale is used to find the hardness of a mineral. The scale which describes about the hardness of a mineral is Mohs scale. In this scale, the first is talc, which is the lightest mineral, and the end is diamond, which tends to be the hardest one. And next, what is mineral? Friends, it is very easy. Mineral is just a solid with a definite chemical composition and a crystal structure. Take, I am mineral, and I am made of only solid, so I will be having my different chemical composition, and I will be having my own structure. So the same thing you can substitute to a mineral is a solid with a definite chemical composition and a crystal structure. So they will be arranged in a regular arrangement in a orderly fashion, and each mineral will be have its own characteristic and its own structure. So by that way, one mineral will be differ from other mineral. So mineral types, there are different kinds of minerals. If the minerals that are formed by the original components of rock, example of this is feldspar and mica, they are the primary minerals. And if the primary minerals undergo some changes, the minerals formed is called as a secondary minerals. And all our clay minerals like kyanite, morlite, these clay minerals are formed by the weathering process of the primary minerals, and hence all the clay minerals are also called as a secondary minerals. And the second type is essential minerals and accessory minerals. Friends, if a mineral is a chief constituent of a rock, that minerals are all called as essential minerals. Example for this is feldspar, pyroxene and mica. If the minerals is present in a small quantity, if its presence does not make any change in the rocks or compositions, if it does not alter the properties of a rock, such kind of minerals is called as accessory minerals. Example for this is tourmaline or magnetite. Friends, two things: primary minerals, which is the original component of rock, on its changes on the primary rocks, it leads to the formation of secondary minerals. And example for secondary minerals is all our clay minerals. And the second type is essential minerals and accessory minerals. If the minerals is the chief constituent of rocks, it forms the essential minerals. And if it is present in small quantity, and if its presence or absence do not alter the property of rock, that kind of minerals is called as accessory minerals. Friends, next we will go for the classification of minerals. Friends, there are two types, namely primary minerals and secondary clay minerals. So secondary minerals itself with the clay minerals. So in primary minerals we have two classification. One is ferromagnesium, another is non-ferromagnesium. If a minerals have iron and magnesium in them, that kind of primary minerals are all called as ferromagnesium minerals. Example for this is orthosilicate, inosilicates, phyllosilicates, olivine, pyroxene, everything what you're seeing. If the minerals don't have iron and magnesium, that kind of minerals are all called as non-ferromagnesium. Example for this is quartz and feldspar, which is the most important examples in which you can get in many kind of competitive exams. So which among the following is a non-ferromagnesium minerals? Example for this is quartz and feldspar. And as you know, the secondary minerals are all clay minerals. Friends, silicate minerals we know one is ferromagnesium mineral, another is non-ferromagnesium minerals. And friends, for a time being, you know that pyroxene is a ferromagnesium mineral which have a single chain, and amphibole is a double chain. Friends, I saw many competitive exam, friends, question papers. In these question papers I came across many questions like pyroxene whether it is a single chain, or amphibole is a single chain or double chain. And hence for a competitive exam point of view, this is enough. Once if you are going for a JRF exam in case of soil science and in PhD exam in soil science, you have to go deep into the subject. For a time being, pyroxene is single chain and amphibole is double chain is more than enough, friends. And in case of mica, friends, we have two things. Friends, please make a kind note on this. There are two kind of micas, namely black mica and white mica. Black mica is also called as biotite, and white mica is also called as muscovite. Friends, it is very important. You can get in any kind of exams. What is black mica called and what is white mica called? And the non-ferromagnesium minerals is one which does not have iron or minerals, iron or magnesium content in their minerals. And example for this is feldspar or quartz. In feldspar you can see they can be a potassic feldspar or a sodium feldspar or a calcium feldspar based on the content. Whether if it is having a potassium feldspar, it is called as orthoclase, and if it is a sodium feldspar, it is called as albite, and if it is a calcium feldspar, it is called as an anorthite, friends. And another important example of non-ferromagnesium minerals is quartz. Friends, this feldspar names, potassic feldspar, albite and anorthite, will be very important. What is the chief constituent of albite? They will be asking, it is sodium. And what is the chief constituent of anorthite? It is calcium. Friends, for this anorthite you can easily remember the first two letter is calcium, Ca, and first two letter of anorthite is An. So combine this, friends, CaAN, you can remember it as can. Okay, friends. And in case of sodium, friends, you can keep it as NaAl, so you won't be forgot, you won't be confused when this kind of questions occur during your exams. Next is non-silicate mineral, friends. So these non-silicate minerals are mostly oxides, carbonates, sulfates and phosphate, friends. And example for this is hematite, limonite, goethite, gypsite. And red color of soil is due to hematite, you know, and yellow color of the soil is due to goethite, friends. And these non-silicate minerals are more important in case of color development in soil. And carbonates, you can see it is calcite and dolomite, friends. This chemical formula of calcite and dolomite will be very important, friends. Calcite is calcium carbonate and dolomite is calcium and magnesium carbonate, friends. And sulfates, it is gypsum, friends. In case of gypsum, one of the most important thing you want to note is that 2H2O, CaSO4 into 2H2O. Then in options you can get 1H2O, 2H2O, 3, 4, likewise. So 2H2O will be very important in this case. And in case of phosphates, it is apatite, friends. So this apatite is a primary source of all phosphorus. So this may be also an important question. Which is the primary source of phosphorus? It is apatite, friends. And the chemical formula for apatite is Ca3PO42. It is also called as a rock phosphate. And next, friends, it is all about clay minerals. As we know, there are four different kind. It is 1:1, 2:1, 2:1, which is a non-expanding one, and another is expanding one, and another finally is 2:2 type of clay mineral, friends. And in case of 1:1 clay mineral, example for this is kyanite. And in case of 2:1 non-expanding, it is biotite, muscovite. As you can see, this biotite is a black mica, muscovite is a white mica, and wizard mica is illite. And 2:1 expanding type of clay mineral is, friends, vermiculite, which is partially expanding. And again, in this expanding we can classify into two types. One is partially expanding and another is fully expanding. In case of partially expanding, it is vermiculite, and in case of fully expanding, it is montmorillonite, friends. And in case of 2:2, it is chlorite.